Hey everybody, what's up? Let's hold the truth hostage where if the truth was so important, we wouldn't negotiate with lies. Now, this video is gonna be a two-part video. Gonna touch up on something that a big issue we have in the manosphere, a huge issue that sends a very wrong message to the majority of men that follow. Now, I'm gonna say a few names here and there, but it's not out of disrespect. It's just pointing out that people in the manosphere say this. And one of the huge issues we have is men saying that, and a lot of these channels say it. I've seen it said on the Better Bachelor, T Turd Flinging Monkey when he was on here. I've seen it on Sandman. I've seen it on Kenji Megtao. I've seen it on many channels where they will say that, they will say that good times breed weak men. And they'll say hard times make strong men, which is a lot of BS. The reason it's BS is that you gotta look at what happened with this country's history. You gotta look at the hardest time, which was, and I'm gonna give you two of them. You got World War II. A lot of men went through the war, came back. What happened? After World War II, you got 1950s, welfare was introduced. You got, what I'm saying, you got abortion was introduced. You have no fault divorce was introduced in 69. And even with that, after Vietnam War, harshest times, those men in the country that survived it came back. And what you see they do with the laws. Hard times do not breed strong men. You know what I'm saying? If it was so true that hard times breed strong men and good times breed weak men, then why is it that if you go back in time through our history, you look at World War One, went through World War One, a few years later you have the Great Depression. You know what I'm saying? If it was so hard times and these men are supposed to be smarter, stronger, and so on, then how come it only it ends up being worse? And then you could even go a little closer to the war in Iraq. We had it was a war back then. What happened? Those men came back, and look at where we are now with these laws. These pro-PC laws and all that. That whole hard times, to me, a lot of men that say that whole hard times breed stronger men, they're actually weak men hoping that hard times come so they can enact actions that can be ignored due to the hard times. Because think about it, during the good times you had a lot of men. You got Tesla, you got PayPal, you have all these men that came up during good times, that were extremely successful. Or, even if you're not looking at the money aspect, looking at men who created new technologies, new innovations. The truth is this, man, weak men pray for hard times. Let me say that again. Weak men pray for hard times. The reason they pray for hard times is that they want to utilize that time to enact and take actions that are not being seen or being paid attention to. So they pray for hard times. So they can take actions that, due to the hard times and the lack of stability, are seen as just, be it robbing, stealing, killing, and so on. that's why they pray for hard times, because this is a big problem. And this whole manosphere thing is you got men just constantly repeating, hard times breed strong men. Hard times breed strong men. You could go to multiple channels and you'll get that same thing over and over again. Hard times breed strong men. When in reality, hard times are just that. They're hard times. And in all honesty, hard times actually breed the stupidest of men, because they become desperate in that time. They don't have a clear form of thought, you know what I'm saying? And they just go. In actuality, the harder the times, the easier it is for those men to get lost in it, to where they don't see a future beyond those hard times, So I see a lot of videos where these men constantly say hard times breed strong men. I keep seeing these videos where these men constantly over and over again, hard times breed strong men. When you look at the history, it doesn't. A lot of laws have been enacted because of the distraction of hard times, where men think it's going to be like this forever, and the government utilizes that frustration, that fear, to capitalize on it. I mean, a fine example is, look at what's happening with Conan 19, where we have all this 6 feet apart stuff, when the death rate, the fatality rate is less, it's less than 1%. But because they've, capitalized on the fear and the lack of stability of the country when it comes to the representation of voters and so on, they utilize this hard times to take advantage. So to me, man, and you even have some men, I used to watch Kenji MGTOW a lot. Used to watch it a lot. And there was one video, and this is the same thing TFM said too, and a couple of other manosphere guys, where they were, where they were saying, man, I wish there was hard times. We'd really have the stronger men surviving, where they openly wish death upon other men because they think this would give them a better opportunity in life. When in reality, it doesn't matter. If you had a moment of war, let's say we have a moment of war where a lot of men are being drafted and sent to war and a lot of men are dying, you know what I'm saying? And they went to war. What happens? Well, the laws didn't change. So the laws with the family court, child support, and all that stuff, the anti-family agenda of the government would not change. So you see a lot of these men that have channels where they've been talking a lot of truth. Then out of nowhere, they drop the hard times breed stronger men line, as though this will change things. Well, I mean, the men are suffering, but the laws are not changing. To me, it kind of displays a crack. It shows a crack in their so-called, quest for being truthful and helping other men. Because, I mean, the answers are right in your face. I mean, we had the recession of '08. Look what happened after that. Look at how much PC, look how much they're blocking what you can and can't say. Those were hard times in the recession. You know what I mean? What changed? How strong were these men during these hard times? Not that strong at all. That's why I stopped watching certain channels, because to me, you get exposed. You get exposed that you're selling all this, man. I want to help my brothers, my fellow men, and then you come out with multiple statements where you're openly saying you wish there was hard times so more men could die and be killed, so you can progress. You know what I mean? So you can progress and have more opportunity. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And a lot of these guys do a lot of, research, some of them on their videos. So for you to have all this research skill in your pocket, and you can't honestly research that World War I, hard times, what happened, Great Depression, Great Depression after World War I, you had the freaking when they stopped alcohol from being sold. I mean, those were hard times. Why weren't those men smarter? So, in actuality, when someone says hard times breed stronger men, they're actually saying it breeds more primal men. Men without honor, men without men that are solely operating on their primal nature, for war, territory, and so on. So these men expose that when when they're so for this type of direction, hard times, they're exposing that they don't value or appreciate other men actually using their mind and being smarter. Because hard times breed more primal men, more weaker, less intellectual men. You know what I'm saying? You going to war and just shooting and killing a lot of people isn't you better in the manhood scenario, the man situation, the mind, and so on. So you'll see a lot of these channels over and over again. Hard times breed stronger men, but when that strength does not equal more intellectuals, smarter men that actually will benefit society, when it's just, oh man, they just went to war a lot, they killed people, they went more into their primal state. This is better for men. I don't get it. I don't. A lot of these guys expose that they don't really care. You know what I mean? That they can basically, 90, it's kind of like you're wearing a mask. When you wear that mask, yeah, guys, we need to, brothers, we need to, man, I got good goals for my brothers. I hope you all the best. We need to stick together. We need to build. We need to do this and that. When in reality, these guys are praying for hard times because they're weak. They're praying for hard times so they can enact, their primal nature. Act towards that primal nature, be more aggressive, be more violent. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're praying for. These men. Hard times breed stronger men. And the other thing is this, man. You'll see a lot of these people selling you testosterone boost and telling you, yo, men have less testosterone. Men are weaker than the last previous men of the 50s who actually died sooner, who lived a harder life, what I'm saying, who worked harder because there were less laws that were benefiting them and keeping them in shape and healthy. What I'm saying? These men lived a far harsher life. And the other thing is testosterone sure has dropped because we don't depend on our testosterone as we used to. We're not working the mines, we're not building the the train tracks by hand. Even the construction workers of today have far better technology. That's why we have lower testosterone. We don't really need it. We're not doing as much harsh labor. And the other thing is, a lot of these men and these channels don't bring up is, like I said, the death rate. A lot of men in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and you go further back, 40s, 20s, and all, died sooner. They worked harder. They were more stressed. We had less developed technology, less access to it. Their lives were a lot harder and they died sooner. And for you to take pride in that, yeah, men were manly. They were stronger. They were more powerful. They had higher testosterone and they were greater men. Yeah, they were greater men when they were dying. at an earlier age. You know what I'm saying? Were eating worse, out of shape. They died sooner. That was a good time to be a man. That's why I say when you see all these channels say hard times breed stronger men, you have to really, really reevaluate these people and look at them and say, man, so you're praying for the death of men? That is your goal. That is what you wish for. That is a positive in your eyes. Hard times do not, and I'm gonna tell you this. Yeah, hard times probably do require more primal men, but look at the laws. Look at the laws that have been passed after the Vietnam War, after World War II, after World War One. Look at all this. You know what I'm saying? Those were true hard times, and what happens? To come back to the country, we get some laws that take away more of our freedoms. We get laws that destabilize the family, and these are supposed to be good times. Hard times breed, stronger men. Hard times, like I said, it's what weak men pray for. They pray for a time of instability. They pray for a time of chaos and disorder so they can actually prey on their fellow man and attack and hope that, the less men that are available, it will mean they'll have access to more women. It'll mean they'll have a better chance of S-imping. You know what I'm saying? They'll have a better chance of S-imping if more men die. You know what I'm saying? So when you hear this whole hard times breed stronger men stuff, it's BS, man. You know what I'm saying? It exposes that these men do not have a positive intent for their fellow man, because here's the truth, man. We're in the greatest of times. Yes, it's not great when it comes to you trying to start a traditional family in your own nation. Yeah. I mean, I'll admit that it ain't a good time. And with the way the laws are, with the way the voting process between both sexes has no checks and balances. I know I bring this up all the time, but the truth is this: the laws will never change. They will never get better, because the government, when the government gave women the right to vote alongside of men, they did not do a check and balances between the sexes when it comes to voting. They left a major loophole that allows them to not only substitute the male vote, but make the male vote worthless. Because if 400,000 women vote, 350,000 men vote for the very same, you know, choices, multiple choices, and they don't, instead of them counting only 350,000 votes on both sides of the sexes, they say, well, we have more women vote here, so, that's what wins. So they can cater to one sex until that loophole has been closed, where if you have more men vote, 500,000 men vote and 460,000 women vote, you're only counting the lower number of votes when it comes to both sexes. Until that loophole is closed, you're not going to get any changes of laws, because the government is preying on a woman's natural need for protection, resources, and provision, and they're offering all that, be it debt reform, they're offering welfare programs, they're offering, more police, more government programs, all because they're preying on a woman's natural instincts. Because the truth is this: men can, with or without the vote, provide for themselves, protect themselves, and have a code between each other. But the women, on the other hand, they were given that ability to vote. So they know it could be taken away, or they wouldn't be able to fight to actually keep it. So they're trying to get as many things done for their benefit as possible, and the government is fueling that. But back to it, like I'm saying, this is not a bad time. You know, this is a good time. These guys say good times for men. Think about this. They said good times breed weak men. That's right. A time where you can, open a store online, open a business online, work from home. A time where you can travel across the world in a global economy. A time where you can get creative, create innovations. A time where the government has literally told you in your own country you shouldn't have children here. You should do it overseas because we're gonna destroy you in the family court and wreck your future. So, this breeds weak men. You know what I'm saying? Opportunities, in good times, opportunities, they're saying, breed weak men. You know what I mean? These guys are jokes, man. These guys, and the thing is, somebody might comment, hey, Mo, hey, hold the truth hostage, you're hating. How am I hating when they literally said this on their videos, and they continue to say this on their videos, that good times breed weak men? When in reality, look at this whole, MGTO movement. Look at this whole, red, you know, pill movement. Look at it. It all came during good times. Good times are when men aren't going to war, having to die all day 24/7. You can accomplish something. We're in the best of times. Yeah, for family, nationally, like I said, you can't do it within your own country anymore, due to the laws of the US and the laws of Canada, London, any country where the family court structure is based like the US. You can't do it there. You know what I mean? Because you as a man can't lead your family anymore. You have to be in the background. You know what I'm saying? So, but we're in good times. The good times is, look, we can conversate, we can talk between each other, we can grow mentally. The government has literally, legally told us we're not needed nor wanted to participate in the creation of a family and that structure and leading it. So it's actually freed us to do alternative, things, technologies, accomplishments, hobbies. It's freed us to do a lot. That's why you see a lot of these men in this manosphere where you see they're pro-toxic. They're pro-toxic and poisonous because they're so desperate to I said this on a video once where there's a lot of guys going monk, but a lot of these guys going monk, the mass majority they're the true worshipers of the women here, because the only reason they've gone monk mode is they're praying that one day our pure and virtuous women will come back to America and I'll no longer have to be a monk, because, I'm dedicating my entire life to awaiting the return of the virtuous woman. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of guys that went monk like that. And then there's a lot of guys in this community that joined or even started, went all red medicine, whatever, or MGTO, you know what I'm saying, who went that way just because they're hoping that if we just preach and speak the truth, the return of the virtuous woman will come. If we just can spread this philosophy, the return of the virtuous woman will come. So there's a lot of guys, a mass majority of them, that have gone monk, that have gone MGTO, RED pill. They've gone that way because they're actually hoping this will trigger the return of the virtuous woman. These guys are fully lost and they're trapped in a delusional state. In actuality, a lot of these guys in monk mode and the ones that have gone RED pill, MGTO, have gone this way are actually awaiting, the return of the virtuous woman, more than they're awaiting Jesus, the return of Jesus now. It's like I stated on a video a while ago, there's a lot of men that are awaiting the return of the virtuous woman more than they're awaiting the return of Jesus, and that's what's happening right now. So to me, man, you have to understand, any man that can open his mouth and without hesitation just say, well, hard times breed stronger men. Hard times breed stronger men. That guy who can openly say that he wishes hard times upon his fellow man and wishes that you fight and you die in wars because it's going to be better for you. It's going to make you stronger, while they ignore over 80 years of history where we've gone to multiple wars, you know what I'm saying? And come back and look at the laws. Look at the laws after the men who went to World War II. You know what I'm saying? Look at the laws after the men who went to Vietnam. These were hard times. Look at the laws after we had the Great Depression. Look at the laws after we had the recession. Look at the laws after we have this whole quarantine. You know what I'm saying? This whole global epidemic quarantine where they're literally passing, your YouTubes and all of them. And here's the thing about the whole YouTube and all these, super left, social media networks blocking people. What they don't get is you're basically telling people, you're daring them. And one thing about America, one beautiful thing that has not wavered in America is the American people answer a challenge. You know what I mean? So YouTube and all of these channels blocking people don't understand that you were created out of a challenge and out of innovation, the people who created YouTube wanted to share video. They weren't the first, but they were the most successful. They wanted a way to share videos and conversation amongst people. Same with Twitter. They wanted to share and innovate stuff. Now they've become the enemy. And now you're daring the American public to replace you. Amazon removed server support for Parler. You know what I mean? When they didn't remove support for Twitter, they're choosing sides, and what they don't get is they're choosing sides in something that isn't a necessity. You not going to Twitter, you not going to Facebook, you not going to YouTube is not the same equivalent of you not eating and breathing. So to me, man, they're summoning the American spirit, and the American spirit is, when you push us against the corner, we will innovate and replace. So I say in a couple months, don't be surprised when a new Twitter, a new Reddit come out, because these guys have shown that the money doesn't matter. It's all about what political group they're with. And if you're not approved of if you're not a part of their political party and support, you are not approved to be on their platform. And it's going to come to bite them, because the quarantine has done a lot. It's reawakened a lot of Americans. A lot of men have been reawakened by the fact that, they got to depend on themselves. This whole blending in stuff isn't going to work. But this has been Hold the Truth Hostage, where if the truth was so important, we wouldn't negotiate with lies. Peace, and brothers, we made it 2021. May we continue this journey.